Ahoy, fellow screaming linguists.
And welcome aboard the Joy of Trek, a metaphorical podcast exploring the oceans and islands of Star Trek, all of it. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And speaking exclusively through memes throughout this episode is your chief engineer, Greg.
Together, we're on a mission through the clearings of Star Trek to find a friend in every foe and the excellence in every episode.
Even the legally distinct Predator episode, Aliens.
Because every episode must be someone's favorite and might as well be ours.
So give Picard's stomach a gander and join us as we learn to communicate into the joy of Trek.
Welcome, dear listeners.
Kaki and Kay, their throats welcome.
Their throats well lubricated, yes.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you guess which episode we're discussing today on The Joy of Trek?
Correct. We are doing episode Darmok, TNG S5 Episode 2.
Oh, wow. It's taken so long for this to get recommended. It's been on the tip of various tongues for quite a while.
So I've gathered, yes.
But it's a difficult one, right? Because it's, right, at once well-beloved, and there is clearly much to say about it.
I mean, okay, so clearly well-beloved. Yes, absolutely. This is in pretty much everybody's top X.
Yeah.
It's, everybody's goes into this episode.
Hold on. Oh, I always, before we find ourselves at a Temerian crossroads, What happens in Darmok, Kay?
Oh,
yeah.
Lots of shouting. Let's see, what else can we say? In episode Darmok, another episode where the Enterprise technology... Oh, gosh, how am I going to turn this? Where technology on the Enterprise does exactly what the plot requires it to.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Not narrowing it down, though.
No, I guess.
Chief, in your learned opinion, what is the Darmok about?
Picard, Marlin from Finding Nemo. It's like he's trying to speak to me, I know it. Dathon, the fish from SpongeBob. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And I do wonder if this is another Spock's brain situation where he's put a little ding every time that someone says the word Darmok.
Oh, we'll see. We'll find out about that. Maybe he will have now.
Maybe he will have. Or maybe he'll have some words with me for so casually setting challenges for him.
Well, he can always just edit it out.
Oh, yeah, he does have that power. And, I'm canonically very stupid, so I'll forget that I did it.
So, yes.
All right, yes.
Everybody kind of loved it. It's Zach Hanlon of the AV Club gave it a grade A, and although he finds the core concept improbable, he says the episode is carried by the terrific performances, particularly Stewart and Winfield, of course, yes. Was rated 9 times out of 10. Radio Times ranked the interaction between Picard and Dathon in Star Trek as the 20th best moment in all of Star Trek. And Ars Technica triggered an online controversy when one staff member said it was a bad episode. In the ensuing discussion, they noted that overall it's considered not just a good episode, but a great one.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm well on board with that. But yes, it's well and truly beloved. So, who recommended this episode to us?
Okay, well, I don't even need to look at my script, although I am going to, just in case I'm wrong, to figure out, Darmok was recommended by Toledo. Yes. Hello, Toledo has recommended episodes before, including Scientific Method, the space dinosaurs on Voyager,
right. Yes.
Where he made the excellent observation that you can have fantastic, intriguing, intellectual science fiction stories based on a scientifically nonsensical premise.
Right.
Right. But nevertheless, despite the nonsensical premise, you can still have interesting extrapolations. Okay, so yes, this is one of the most famous episodes of The Next Generation. That's because it's darn good. There's so many wonderful moments. The rarity of the depictions of aliens initiating a first contact with the Federation. The humor of the Enterprise crew's incomprehension. The exploration of cultural misunderstandings beyond the linguistic. Dathon casts lots. What's the knife for? And Picard telling the 4,000-year-old story of Gilgamesh, right as Dathon dies. And the centrality of the term Darmok leading us to wonder, who in this story is Darmok?
Yeah.
But one thing I love about it is akin to why I recommended Distant Origin. Yes, thank you. Just like that Voyager episode catastrophically misrepresents evolution, Darmok butchers linguistics. There is no way that a culture could communicate solely via memes and references. There has to be some linguistic substrate in which the foundational stories could be communicated after all. The premise of the episode would fall apart under the slightest examination but it doesn't matter. It serves the story is good, and the story of two strangers willing to risk life for the opportunity to share stories is the heart of Star Trek.
Yes, very true.
Oh, thank you, Toledo. Yes, absolutely. Although I've got to say, on a rewatch, I actually found more sort of scientific basis for, I was on this camp, like, it makes no sense. There has to be like a children's language where you can learn the stories.
Right.
But I did notice some technobabble that makes me think, maybe there's more.
Well, okay, so let's get this. I mean, it's not going to be, it's not a warp core, but let's get it out of the way anyway. The whole quick little discussion about how this works down. So, yes, what Toledo says is like there has to be a base substrate language, which I agree to a certain degree. But your comment about a child's language, it's not necessarily, because normal words and languages also doesn't have, there's nothing in a kid that they can learn from. They have to like mimic bad things back at their parents until they get the concept right, and that's how you learn a language. I guess. I mean, sounds like to me that's how you learn a language.
Yeah.
The same would happen with more complicated concepts.
Yeah.
The problem is, apparently, this Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra is not from their own culture. It's from a different culture.
Oh, yes.
So they must have communication with other cultures, and that's the problem. So this is a solved problem. Communicating with these people.
That's right. They need a shared experience,
right.
And then they can do it. You're right to point out that a children's language is not quite the right thing. But I learned this thing about how children like adopt the sort of semantic. Okay, I know a little bit about semiotics, the science of signs. Right, signs and signifiers and how they're received, and this whole the symbol and the icon, and they mean various different things. When you're a kid, you learn the word cup very early on because it's important. Food comes in your cup. You're around a cup a lot, and it's usually the same one. But there's a point in your development where you figured out, okay, this is cup, and you can actually say cup back.
Right,
but where a second cup enters your view, and you don't actually know that those are the same thing.
Right, yeah.
It actually is a whole sort of step to abstract. Okay, all cups are cup.
Right. There are many like us, but this one's mine.
Yeah, but they're not glasses. A glass is something else. And so that's how you...
a glass can also be a cup, but
develop that kind of
I get that.
understanding. But yeah, what you're describing, I mean, we barely need to talk about the episode anymore because...
Also, what this episode needs is a lot more miming. I mean, that's pretty much...
I didn't have that written down. But there is a scene where Picard tells the story of Gilgamesh with his hands out, orating, and like he keeps just pumping his hands back and forth, explaining and he attacked and he defended and they were friends. And it's the same thing. Like if you were a child learning sign language, you would really struggle.
Yes. But yes, I mean, like pretty much most of the breakthroughs come through mimicry. When they're acting out, when he's acting out what he's saying, like giving the
Tak and the Tamarians would get on really well, I think.
Oh, I suppose so, yes.
They were just, they would invent a whole new form of ballet. Okay, let's actually discuss let's hit the...
There we go. All right, so we open with as you mentioned, the Enterprise has received a signal, which is apparently an invitation to communicate, because it's a mathematical sequence.
Yes.
So it's like, hi, we're intelligent.
Yep, like a little, what was it, Fibonacci is a popular one.
Something like that, yeah.
Although, Fibonacci spirals occur pretty frequently in nature.
Sure.
Primes, I think you'd want.
Primes, I mean, yeah, there's whole treatises being written about like how to communicate, intelligence and...
Yeah.
I mean, for the fact, starting with electromagnetic, radiation, being able to produce electromagnetic radiation in a particular sequence. And, Yeah, there's all sorts of ways to go about that. As you start by what is it again? The frequency of hydrogen or something weird stuff like that. You tune it to things which don't normally occur in nature.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you start with the frequency of hydrogen, which is like 99% of the universe is hydrogen or helium.
Right, yes.
And 1% is misc.
Yes.
And that's where all the interesting stuff is.
Yeah, true.
Much like gender. Hey!
Pretty much, yeah.
Political statement. All right. So there is some discussion among the crew on how to approach this, because the history of contact with the Tamarians has been uneventful, or the children of Tamar, as they call themselves.
Yes.
But if you didn't really pay attention to this scene because you were totally distracted by Captain's jacket, that's totally plausible. Greg, how about you? Did you just totally love the Captain's leather quilted shoulder jacket here?
Jared Leto, his eyes alight, seeing green jacket. Jared Leto, next month, wearing the same jacket.
I mean, the rest of the jacket is also more like a suede-like material.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was so convenient. He just happens to be wearing his warm jacket on the day that he gets transported to a planet without any equipment. It's just so lucky.
This jacket appears after Picard has had his experience being Borgified.
Oh.
And is suggesting, much like Patrick Stewart himself, that he wants some expression of individuality. Right, as a way of coping with the trauma of having been homogenized.
I thought that was later seasons, that whole Borgification thing, but
I think it was even earlier. I'm not entirely sure. I think it happened at the between season 3 and season 4. We've just entered season 5. It's a tricky time for the production, by the way. They'd sort of run out of scripts over the summer.
Oh no!
Yeah, and it was tricky. They were sort of entering this phase where we've done 130 stories now, and are there more stories in space?
Yeah, we're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. Well, they scraped very well with this one. But yes, the problem is...
Federation vessels have encountered Tamarian ships 7 times over the past 100 years. Each meeting went without incident. However, formal relations were not established because communication was not possible.
And Picard goes, well, that's
we
nonsense.
shall see about that.
Yeah.
In my experience, communication is a matter of patience, imagination. I would like to believe that these are qualities that we have in sufficient measure.
Patience, imagination, and a universal translator. You know.
Would it be nice to have a Hoshi on board, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would it be nice to have a Uhura around?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, first contact, and it is, the Tamarians are just kind of spouting their meme talk to the...
It's so good. This whole scene is fantastic. We're just panning around the bridge at all of our familiar crew members who are just completely lost.
Baffled,
and,
yes.
Eyeing each other, like the traditional boomers at the Gen Z sort of TikTok party. Completely unable, just no cap. They did not understand the assignment.
Yes.
I'm going to risk some Gen Z things that I learned from a video one time.
Chicken jockey.
I don't know what that is.
Apparently something from the Minecraft movie.
Okay. Ooh. I'm always nervous when we say things that we don't really know what it is. I worry about becoming a milkshake duck.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Which needs no explanation, right?
Good, yeah, no, absolutely not. So yes.
I'm sorry. I remember this tweet from some historian who said, I'm so sick of what all these asshole historical people did to make my life difficult. I'm going to do the same to the people in the future. So I'm writing a diary that says, today I returned home via my usual route and enjoy the meal that I often, but not always, enjoy in the common fashion.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hereby frustrating historians.
And I'll just put my dodecahedrons over here, and we don't need to mention those. We just all have them.
Everybody knows how to use the 3 seashells.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yes.
Hey, Chief, how many of these have you caught so far? We've got the dodecahedron, we've got the 3 seashells. What else have we had? We've got milkshake duck.
Yes.
Can you do footnotes, Chief? Because Kay and I have been doing this for many years. Chief, can you do we're giving you a lot of jobs this time.
Oh, man, yes. Unfortunately, yes. We can't even do our own little audio clip edits in this episode because of technical difficulties, which is such a shame, because for this episode, I would have been...
What are you going to mean? Darmok.
Bing.
I learned about, voice interfaces for dogs, for what do you call it? Medical support animals.
Oh, right, yes.
Right, for people with certain conditions. And it's like a harness with all of these pulleys where they can be trained to, in certain circumstances, like your human falls over or has help, you go and find another human, bark at them until they look at you, and then you pull this lever and it goes, "My owner is having a medical emergency. Call 911 and follow me."
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit like Up Again, like the dogs with the dogs with the speech collars.
I wonder if it's sort of based on that. But yeah, you can train them to do anything,
Right, yes.
What do you, I think that was a joke on another podcast. What do you think of my outfit? And then he goes rummaging around his vest to find the right one that goes, lame. Oh, lame, 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 lame.
I have seen videos where people have cats with all big, lots of buttons that they can use, and mad. What are you mad about?
mad.
Anyway,
so what's really interesting? You see them on the screen, the Tamarians on this multi-level bridge. I don't know exactly how it's set. I've got some transparent screens, and there's clearly some arguing going on between them because they're all getting frustrated that the humans don't understand them.
Yes.
The humans are talking amongst themselves. They try to speak to the screen, but there's just no understanding going.
Troy goes like,
"I sense nothing but good intentions from them, Captain."
Data actually makes the first sensible comment about like,
Tamarian seems to be stating the proper names of individuals and locations.
Yes.
That's already a very big clue. And then Picard goes like, well,
Captain, would you be prepared to consider the creation of a mutual non-aggression pact between our two peoples, possibly leading to a trade agreement and cultural interchange?
And then we'll have a library and cookies and tea. Yeah. And it's like, how on earth does he figure that's going to work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is... I was going to say he is British, and then corrected myself. No, he's French. Yeah. They're not colonizers like that. And then I went, wait, hang on. Yeah, no. Okay, so everybody sort of does it. I mean, you go up to a native and you just yell at them what you think that they need, and when they sort of gape at you stupidly, you just yell it again, but slower.
Sausage, eggs, and beans, please.
I mean, it's kind of the reverse of like how many like mountains are named after fingers, or how many islands are named "Let Me Go," because that's just what's the island person was yelling while he was grabbed by someone asking him what this place is called.
There's something like the hill somewhere in the UK. I mean, I'm not sure if the story is apocryphal, because so it's like the hill, and then they ask the next round of invaders comes through and asking what's that hill called, and it's called Hill. Okay, so we'll call it the Hill, and so it's basically the full name of that thing by now is like 5 times the word hill in different languages.
I love that. Oh, it's like sending Japanese people up the wall by calling Fuji Mount Fujiyama. Right. Because Yama is already a suffix that means mountain. And yeah. So this is going nowhere. But eventually, the captain, whom we later learn is called Dathon, wins the argument over the protestations of his first officer. He draws 2 knives, stands up.
He actually nicks the ceremonial knife from his first officer.
Oh,
they all have that little front... the
chest sheath, yeah.
And he takes the one from his first officer and makes off with it, and gets himself transported down to the planet along with Picard.
Yeah.
Panic on the bridge, shields up.
Gone before anyone can see what's going on. They can't raise the shields in time.
They can't beam him back because the Tamarians are disrupting transporter traffic.
Yeah, they've somehow got a particle scattering field around the whole planet, and that's where the captain finds himself with his cool jacket. And Dathon standing in a field in presumably Southern California somewhere.
It looked like one of the typical Southern California mountains, but now apparently it was a lush season because it's quite green, so it must have been in winter or something. Or at least after rains.
Yes, that's how it works in desert cultures. And he's sort of standing there, is Dathon, with 2 knives, holding them out, and with a very serious expression on his face. Do you know Paul Winfield, by the way, the actor who plays Dathon?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Do you remember the original captain of the Reliant in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, who gets the worm in his ear, along with Chekhov?
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember the scene, yes.
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah, that was Paul Winfield.
Nice.
Oh, and then we get the credits. By the way, you skipped the credits this time, so you didn't get to see the cool... This is the one season where the logo has those streaks behind it.
Oh, okay, yes. We were in a bit of time crush to get my other half out of the door because he was...
he had a fika to get to.
Yes, so
traditionally not a high-pressure sort of...
No, but I figured we skipped the credits to buy a little bit more time. Anyway... So yes, no communication possible, so they have to figure out. So this is interesting because there's no real B-plot in this episode. No, there's actually no B-plot at all in this episode. There's just like what happens.
I mean, the A and the B plot concern the same things. Like, okay, yes, you're right. It's all concerning the same conflict. There's Picard and Dathon at Eladrel.
Right.
Let me see. Actually, Riker has his own thing. Data has his own thing. And to a certain degree, LaForge has his own thing. Because Riker has to navigate the political and military situation with Worf and with everyone. LaForge has to technobabble something, and Data and Troy have to figure out like
what the language is. They don't, but
I mean, sort of,
a little bit. I mean, they get the idea. They figure out what it is that's happening.
Yeah,
but it's Picard who actually gets to work on some vocabulary. Yes. So yes, Dathon is like, okay, yes, we are going to Darmok and Jalad, and Picard misinterprets that as we're going to fight.
Yes, which is also Worf's assumption, because while the Temerians have created the scattering field, they have tuned it so that you can still scan the surface.
Right.
So they do observe that these guys are 9 meters apart. They seem to be in good health. Yep. Worf goes,
a contest, perhaps.
What, with the 2 knives and all? Not a weird thing for a Klingon to assume.
No, absolutely not. Because it's like, well, they literally say that. Like,
between champions, our captain against theirs.
Theirs was armed.
Like, okay, let's see, what do we know? We know this Darmok and Jalad is about the 2 people who come to the island and defeat the monster there and leave together as friends.
Yes.
So that's like we are going to have the shared experience.
And that's what Dathon is inviting him, like handing him a knife. Come, we're going to kill something together.
Right, yes.
And Picard rejects him.
Yes.
Throws the knife back, thinking that he's rejecting a mortal duel.
Right, yes.
Shaka. When the walls fell.
Yeah, which apparently means failure.
He slinks off.
Yeah. It's, as far as I can gather, Shaka and the walls fell, it means failure.
Yeah.
So yes, it's fine. He goes like, oh, well, he's been denied. So they're trying to make contact with the first officer, and the first officer is not having any of it.
Yeah.
It's him. His eyes closed.
Probably means you don't understand.
Yeah. You know, in Lower Decks, a Temerian crew member joins the Cerritos.
Oh?
And speaks this way. We've actually seen him yelling, Temba!
Yes, I remember that scene.
And he's learned some English as well, but Ransom rather impresses him by knowing some of these.
Oh, nice, yes.
Worf, I want you to assemble a security team, take a shuttle down to the planet, bring back the captain.
And in the meantime, Picard continues the tradition of Starfleet officers apparently not getting very excellent survival training because he can't get a fire lit.
It's very hard to get a fire lit with just a stick.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's like it's made to be quite easy by people who know how to do it. But if you've never done it...
Oh, no, absolutely. There's training for these things.
Sure. And I'm sure he had that training 20 years ago at Starfleet for one weekend in the Appalachians or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. They really only do have one weekend because why train people to deal with snow or desert when they're always going to wind up in a Californian quarry anyway.
Right, yes.
It's always going to be basically, basically the same climate on every planet.
Or it's going to be in a cave. So, I mean, I guess cave exploration should be more of a thing in Star Trek, Starfleet.
Yeah. On Lower Decks, Mariner is certainly really, really interested in caves. She likes how they're all roughly the same height. They have the weirdly smooth floors. It's magical.
That's anyway.
So this is all filmed in a soundstage when we're at night.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's in a soundstage where they do some pretty cunning lighting work. Because it's not easy to light a scene just by fire. It's very unpredictable.
Okay, yes, I can imagine, yeah.
And it's a very limited range of frequencies, so you want to also hide lights that illuminate people.
Picard fails in making fire. How the other captain did that is left to the viewer's imagination.
We don't know what their diet is like.
Wow. But
no footnotes on that one. Thanks, Chief. Just leave that to the imagination. Yeah, so it's pretty difficult, all this lighting, especially this maneuver that Captain Dathon does, where he walks all around the fire.
Uh-huh.
Because there was a bunch of, they're called flags and gobos, sort of light blockers. So it's Winrich Kolber who did this episode. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm not exactly sure whether he is German. I mean, it's certainly a German name.
Mm-hmm.
really did his best on this episode. Sorry, that sounds damning, but he really struggled to work with the rest of the teams. Like, some of the editing was very, very difficult because he was trying to stage an action scene without a monster in it, because it was, composited in afterward. And I guess they didn't do previs then.
No. They fought invisible things before, or fought them if it turned out to be necessary.
Now, which episode do you think which episode are you referencing there? Because that sounds like an episode that should come up in our recommendations, I should hope.
I think that's the very first episode that we ever did.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, Beverly's Ghost Sex Candle. Oh, yes. Amazing.
So yes,
Picard tries to make a connection.
Mm-hmm.
When he tries to say things to Dathon that don't arrive, and
no.
Dathon, meanwhile, tries to convey messages from his perspective with more clarity, also adding some ritual, some expressive elements to it. When he casts lots, as Toledo calls it, he starts taking things off of his uniform, and he performs some sort of gesture over these objects, treats them with reverence, and places them around the fire every time, like touching his forehead, presumably in some form of respect, because they're badges of dignity. That's how we recognize
it looks
them.
like. I mean, the way he wears them, at first you'd think they were rank insignia or medals or something. Yeah. If you get a good look at them, you'll notice that they're different minerals, which are pins. So one of them is a block of pyrite, the other one is some form of crystal that I noticed. So there's...
cool!
Yeah, if you get a close look at them. But what the purpose behind this ritual is kind of unclear either.
Yep.
But yeah, he lies down, feigns sleep, tries to find sleep, then goes like, takes pity on Picard and gives him the fire.
Yep, takes a log out of his successful fire.
Yeah.
Tosses it over and yells,
"Timber, his arms wide."
And I think that like Picard starts to get it a little bit. You know? He's beginning to piece together what this means.
Like holding his arms wide in generosity.
Fire. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good one. Like, at first he mistakes it. He thinks there's a direct word-object relationship. Oh, I remember there was a scene in a different episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where Troy explains this to the captain by holding up her glass cup of tea and saying the word Sasmarith, which is apparently what the word is in Beta Z.
What did I just say? Did I say tea? Did I say cup? Did
Brown,
I say...
hot, desire, right? Comfort, all of that.
Yeah.
I think also of the excellent film Arrival.
Yes.
Where a linguist straight up says that if we only have samples of speech, we can never understand them because we don't understand those relationships.
Right, yeah.
And see, maybe that's the problem with communicating with Temerians. They're completely, perhaps, right, blind to word-object relationships. They just don't make sense.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the case, yes.
Except in the context of storytelling.
Yeah.
So it has to be in the form of a story. Either, like, you if you want them to understand something, much like Picard winds up doing with the Epic of Gilgamesh, he can understand the Epic of Gilgamesh because it's other people things are happening to.
Right.
In the form of a story, and now it makes sense to the Temerian brain.
Well, there is a little bit of... You notice that the Temerian captain, starts elaborating. So when he's talking to his first officer, it's Darmok, and that's enough, you know?
Yep.
Because he knows, and then it becomes Darmok and
Tanagra. It's not Darmok on the ocean. That's stupid. Obviously, it's Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Right.
We all know that.
But he later starts establishing, like he is telling more of the story. It's like Darmok on the ocean, Jalad on the ocean, Darmok and Jalad on the island, and it's like, now we're starting, like, do I really have to tell you the entire story? It's like,
it's that kind of shorthand that we have in our culture as well.
Yeah.
Oh, but he has a fire, has Picard, and now he can sleep, which is already progress.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the shuttle is flying towards the planet and is being deftly disabled by the Temerians. With a very well-placed shot to the starboard nacelle.
Oh, we get only such a brief look at this brand new shuttle interior that they inherited from the Final Frontier. Before, the camera shakes wildly and the ship has to limp home because Worf...
I may be able to land, but I will not be able to take off.
At which Worf is 100% intending to do until Riker goes like, yeah, come back. And like,
it's almost like I could land, or I could return, or I could, no, do not crash into the other ship. Oh, but Mom. Also, the introduction of Robin Leffler.
Ah, yes.
The young lieutenant who's with him, who will later play a role in the episode Lower Decks in this season.
In this season?
Yes, this is one of the sort of, on The Next Generation, they sometimes have some character continuity with guests. Sonia Gomez, I think, appeared in more than one episode, or then she didn't.
Right.
But this was, Robin Leffler was being set up and then would later have a bigger role in an upcoming episode.
Oh, okay, nice.
But Riker is kind of impressed. We tried a gambit that they wouldn't shoot. They shot exactly right. So, okay. Still...
Okay, so they're not actually they're aggressive, but they're not like apparently they have their own purpose.
They have their own escalation of force.
They are very much hell-bent on keeping Picard and their own captain on the planet.
Yeah, which they find hard to understand. Worf is confident.
Yes.
I have confidence in his ability as a warrior. He will be victorious.
Yeah, how does Picard get to be an amazing warrior?
I mean, he did a lot of brawling with whatchamacallits again in his youth.
Yeah, but that was a certain type of wrestling that you'd see on certain types of pottery that in practice require a lot of KY.
I was actually talking about when he got stabbed through the heart. But...
Oh, yeah, okay, no, that too. So, yeah, that really wouldn't impress you.
No.
As a Klingon. Oh, so he got his ass handed to him. He fucking died with a sword through him. Oh.
He kind of got stabbed in the back, though.
Well, when you're fighting 3 opponents, it's up to you who you put your back toward.
Right. And
you have a choice.
You know about the whole shooting in the back piece. Like, it's generally the safest option.
Yes, the Elam Garrick School of Marksmanship.
Yes.
Who the hell are these people? There's got to be some way to get through to them. As I have said, with further study, it may be possible. Then do it. Deanna, help him. I want something by 0900 hours.
Yeah, which is pretty late, so that's generous, you know. You know, that means that, like, he's kind of expecting them to be able to sleep and, then work on it from 0500 or whatever it is that they get up at.
I mean, we don't even know what time it is now.
No, that is true.
Oh, no. They've probably set their clocks to the capital city of the local system, so...
As is practice ever since Enterprise. Yeah. Just been common practice for 100 years, yeah.
Picard wakes up alone.
Yeah.
Dathon's fire is out, and he's not there. So he approaches the circle of Dathon's camp, and with an apology.
Yes, because this here you can see, it's like the first item, you can see the bluish one that it appears to be a bit of crystal, and the one that he picks up appears to be pyrite, as far as I can tell from this distance.
And there's also something that looks like a book, that he wonders if it's a log. And then we cut back to, I love this, Data has he's done some interior decorating. He's got a new set for his quarters.
Yeah.
And it's Troy and Data sort of pacing back and forth. Troy does all the pacing for both of them. She does most of the eye rolling too.
Yes.
As they're playing back recordings of the Tamarians to figure out what they're doing.
Yes, the captain is all about Darmok, and the first officer is about Mirab, his sails unfurled, which I guess means we should get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
He's just like, this is not going to work. Let's just get the hell out of here.
Oh, yeah, good one, because that comes up.
Yeah.
Later on, between Dathon and Picard. He also used Mirab, his sails unfurled, for, so you're just going to get the fuck out of here? Okay, fine. So they do some searches on Darmok.
Which turns out to be a fairly commonplace word.
Yeah.
I think the captain was just inviting Picard to go have some ice cream.
It is a frozen dessert.
I know, right? That's what.
And it's very generous of the computer to assume that these phonemes are... Right, that simple, that Darmok and Darmok and Darmok are the same sounds.
I mean, maybe that's why they get 43 different hits, you know?
Oh, come on. I was making a reference to you have the rhotic R, the R, and you have the non-rhotic R.
Right.
But then you also have the guttural R, the R, and different languages.
Yeah.
It's the same letter presented differently. And
but one of them might just be an accent in one language, or not even existent in, because like 43 different references. Like, Troy asked, like,
Computer, how many entries are there for Darmok?
47.
Which I assume accompanies quite a few cultures and languages.
I mean, even just like looking on Earth, with we all have the same, mouth, throat, tongue, esophagus, like the same apparatus. And even then, like we have all of these variations in how we say different sounds. You can aspirate them where you include or withhold breath. You can voice them. Let me see. You can palatalize them like the Russians do, the y, right? You can do that. You can glottalize them like in Arabic, where the difference between a and ha, because there's such a different thing that you do with this huge apparatus.
Right, yes. Like, what was that joke? How do you spell Ahmed? It's like A, phlegm.
Ahmed.
Yeah.
Which could also be another thing. But we can't even control which nostril the sound comes out of. And for another culture, that might be hugely important.
The huge breakthrough in the search comes when they decide to search for both words at the same time.
Yes, because she recognizes
An island continent on Chantil 3.
Stop. Chantil 3. Computer cross-reference the last entry with the previous search index.
Oh, so there's some correlation.
If you look for Darmok, you get 43 hits. If you go to look for Tamagra, you get another bunch. But what do you know? Do they ever occur together somewhere? Wow, what an...
Okay, we're being really mean to television audiences from the 1980s for whom information systems were not so natural as they are to us.
Fair point, yes.
No, I mean, you're right. Obviously, it's okay for us to feel that way. But yeah, the idea that you could have a computer cross-reference might have been completely novel to a huge number of people.
Yeah, search engines weren't really a thing back in the late 80s.
I mean, how do you do it when you have, card indices?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
if you want to do a cross-reference, that means you need to have, a bunch of dudes.
Well, have you never seen that famous photograph of these, I think it's somewhere in Prague or something, in a library, or where you basically got these guys sitting on their little desks, and each desk is basically mounted on a forklift kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Where they just can go up and down and left and right across all the card indexings, an entire wall of card indexing
yes, it's
systems.
Magnificent.
Well, I guess that's what search engines looked like before.
I mean, kind of. I remember learning about the concept of telex is an actual thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically mechanized malls.
There was an early computer, sort of an early hypothetical concept of the internet called the X something, I think, compact.
Mini X? Is that the French system you're talking about?
So it was never in practice. It was a hypothetical system, but based on the technology that existed. Cards being transported via tubes. Memex, I think it was.
Okay.
How such a system could work.
Memex is...
Oh, no.
It is I know the word Memex. I know it because Charles Stross talks about a Memex machine, which is one of the characters in his Laundry File series uses. But that's more like a combined card system, a fish, microfiche reader thing.
But with a physical transportation system as well to make that...
I don't think that was mentioned. But
okay. I think we sort of got there. Oh.
Right, yeah.
Kaki and K in the early internet.
But yes, the captain comes running back.
I was curious. I'm in Doha.
Shaka!
Knife time! It's knife time!
No, enough! I'm not going to fight you! You will just have...
But there is rocks falling down the cliff face and strange sounds being made in the distance. And Picard is going like,
knife time.
I'll take the knife. I'll take the knife.
With that.
Fine, you and me between you, me, them, stabby. Again, a little bit more miming would have been really great here.
I know. This is being detected from orbit.
Yes.
Robin Leffler and LaForge down in engineering, and Riker and Worf on the bridge.
Commander, sensors are picking up an electromagnetic disturbance approaching the captain's position.
Analysis?
Possibly a life form.
All right, Riker makes a command decision. We're going to try and get them out of here, which is hugely premature because they were working on a way to tunnel through. Okay, we're going to have to shorten that timeline and take a huge risk because if it fails, then the Tamarians will know what they're up to.
And then we can block this. Yes. Now the miming happens when we're talking about...
Uzani, his army with fist open.
Which means you go left.
Yes. Create a vulnerability.
Right, yes.
Yes, this is brilliant because he's just figured out, has Picard, Shaka when the walls fell. Oh, you said that before, so that's failure.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so what are our options here? And
or it might be negatory because when he goes about...
Mirab, sails unfurled?
Then he goes like...
Shaka when the walls fell.
We don't leave, we face this together.
Yeah.
No, we're going to Darmok this. We're not going to Shaka this, we're going to Darmok this.
See, the director talked about how he really struggled with this because he didn't understand the words that were being said. But it looks like Paul Winfield absolutely does understand what he's saying here.
Right.
He has to understand what he's trying to convey, struggling with gestures.
Of course, yeah.
But of course, the gestures can't be too obvious because then the audience can figure it out. And Picard looks stupid.
Yeah.
That's how you communicate, isn't it? By citing example. By metaphor.
Sukat! His eyes uncovered!
And then the captains, their asses handed to them.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, it would be better if they start the fight with the alien, and it's like the alien, the monster, it's kicking their asses a little bit, but it would have been better if the Enterprise hadn't interfered at that point, because basically Picard gets stuck in the transporter buffer for a little bit.
Frozen.
Yes, while the Tanagran captain gets his ass kicked by the alien.
Because their idea is he can only attack one of us at a time, and then the other will have an opening.
Right.
So whichever one of us is the soccer, and we can switch back and forth as they do,
which
quite
happens.
successfully.
Yeah, quite in the beginning that works.
But this creature, this nearly invisible, it looks like a creature, honestly, from Power Rangers, I've got to say.
It does a bit. It's
wails on poor Dathon.
Yes.
While the Enterprise on the Temerian ship is fighting a tug of war over Picard's molecules.
Well, they're not really. The Temerians are trying to block them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Riker orders them to release for the risk of losing the captain, who materializes just as the creature, I don't know, gets bored.
Yeah, for some reason decides to stop.
Hears his mum calling.
Yeah. And he goes and talks to the captain. Yeah, Shaka, when the walls fell, we failed.
Well, that sucked. Okay, so now there's another briefing. All right, we've tried a bunch of things and they've all failed.
There's no getting through.
Unless we attack the ship itself.
Are you able to pinpoint the source of their particle beam?
They're using a polarity coil generator located after their warp drive. It's pretty heavily shielded.
So that's another, a reasonable escalation of force in a conflict.
Yes.
Not wanting to cause a war.
I mean, they started shooting first, so that's all, in all fairness.
Yeah, but they're shooting at an auxiliary ship, and they're shooting at the ship itself.
Sure, yeah.
Right? The shuttle, as the Temerians know, is not where the Enterprise keeps their school children. That's the front of the saucer section facing out.
Oh, that's 10 forward. That's 10 forward.
Yeah, but they use the school
that's where the Boozarium is.
Yeah, their most precious treasures. And Riker turns to Troy and Data.
The Tamarian ego structure does not seem to allow what we normally think of as self-identity.
And he breezes on past this.
Yeah.
But I think that really sort of isolates it. Like, as a Temerian, I can't relate to you talking about yourself.
Right.
I can't relate to you talking about me. None of that makes sense to me to speak about. Right? Those are actions we perform maybe instinctually. You sort of don't have that mirroring concept. But if you speak about somebody else experiencing something, then I can follow you.
Yeah. So this has to be in the third person. Well, not in the third person, in the third person.
And ideally, it has to be symbolic, right? A symbolism that you understand because it signifies something. I need to follow that you feel that something is significant. That I can understand through a shared appreciation of the story. And the more I delve into this, the more I think of another friend of mine, Rob McWolf, a writer who has told me that he believes in storytelling as literal magic.
Okay.
And, there's a sort of spiritual, certainly a point to that. Storytelling is an act whereby something can be costlessly multiplied.
Yes.
I tell you a story, and now it exists in two minds.
Right.
And something has been created out of nothing, and also, every mind it exists in, the story is new and different.
Oh,
it's
yes,
never the same.
No, because they change, of course. Yes, very good point.
So, this idea that there is a species that can access storytelling but can't access verbal communication, that's not so outlandish to me at all, now that I see this.
Well, it's still verbal communication, but it's on a different level.
Right, a direct communication. Although now I wonder, how does that work when they're children?
Right.
Right, because why can't you be more like your sister? Your sister, who is on time.
Yeah. Your sister at the train station.
Your brother late for school again.
Yeah.
This realization that they have up there doesn't help them because they know that Darmok and Tanagra were both on Seamus the second.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help them.
Crusher makes a comparison about...
If I didn't know who Juliet was or what she was doing on that balcony, the image alone wouldn't have any meaning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's...
And then you know exactly what that scene sort of does for you.
Right.
But like...
Without the cultural context, there's no... And that's where I'm kind of like, okay, because like Darmok and Jalad were not Temerians, as far as I can understand.
Right, so they may have done, or maybe it's a cousin species, but they may, like you said, have learned it from others who found it to be a valuable story in this region. But like, you know, Simba looking at clouds, if you've seen The Lion King, you know that that's about missing someone who's dead, a father-son relationship, but just Simba looking at clouds means nothing without that. And
Simba Hokuna ing Sarabis Tatas? No. No, Sarabios Nala.
Yeah, well, Nala is his half-sister anyway. Just don't think about it too much. It's different for lions. It's different for species that aren't so genetically constrained as we are. There's a fire.
Yep.
Which I sort of imagine that Dathon had to light in his deeply wounded status. Like, it's presented as if Picard is guarding him, but like, this is after 2 hours of watching Picard just fail. Let me do it.
Picard starts to introduce some props more, like, there's a little bit of writing in the sand to represent the ocean and the island. This is really interesting, because Dathon tries to explain Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra, Darmok on the ocean, Jalad on the ocean, right? There we're going. And Picard tries to do this with pictures. He's got, like, this stone is now Dathon, which you can see Darmok, which Dathon goes, it's not, it's already not working for his brain. No.
And this picture, that's just not working.
Okay, the ocean is apparently his travel.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
And they arrived separately. And then there was the beast. And then you had Darmok and Jalad on the ocean. And so they left together as friends.
Yep.
And, I mean, just looking at the lines, it's really difficult to appreciate what an excellent scene this is.
Oh, yes. I mean, as was commented before, like, this episode is really carried by the performance of these two actors.
Yeah. And Picard realizes what an incredible sacrifice Captain Dathon made.
You knew there was a dangerous creature on this planet, and you knew from the tale of Darmok that a danger shared might sometimes bring two people together.
And he invites Picard, okay, now it's your turn. Now you tell a story.
Yes, returning the gesture that Picard did earlier when he said, Temba, give me something.
Yep.
And Picard raises his hands toward the foreigner, speaking loudly and slowly, emphasizing every word the same way. Because...
Imagine, oh no, I'm not much of a storyteller,
No, I can tell. Where are the hand puppets? You got this close with a Darmok rock.
Very good, yes. But
what you need is a little Punch and Judy show.
Yeah, I suppose.
That would be great.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a Skeksis... Oh, what are the other ones called?
Oh, the
puppet show. In the puppet show Dark Crystal in the Age of Rebellion, where the puppets do a puppet show, and it's the most amazing thing. Okay. That's what you need. Send those off as envoys.
I mean, that'll work, to
meet the Temerians.
But yes, he starts telling the story of Gilgamesh in, like, as you say, constantly making the same gestures.
But so it makes sense. You can see the Temerians sort of listening. Like, okay, Gilgamesh was pretty shitty, and people asked him for a friend, and then he got a friend, and then they were together,
and then they fought.
Uruk.
And
at Uruk. Okay, so there's people and a place. Now it's slotting into my brain.
Right now it's coming through the thing. Right. Look, I mean, don't know if he dies. It's kind of like this is the last time we see him alive here. Yeah.
Yep. This is the moment that he dies, where telling the tale of Gilgamesh and Enkidu defeating a foe, but unfortunately, Enkidu, pardon me.
Yeah.
Enkidu fell to the ground.
Is struck down by the gods. Yeah.
And the last words, which Picard does remember.
And Gilgamesh wept bitter tears, saying, "He who was my companion through adventure and hardship is gone forever."
And so goes Dathon with Picard at Eladrel.
Phaser's nearly ready, sir.
Yes, shit's about to get real. Things are looking dire because the spaceships are going to blast each other and down on the planet.
So interesting. Why do the Temarians, why do they just sit around and wait? Because like they should be able to tell that their captain's dead, and yet they wait until morning. They let the situation exist. They let Picard sit there on the planet. They keep up their shield.
Yeah.
And they give it more time.
I mean, we don't know what their cultural context is. Like
True.
the way that they've been communicating with themselves, they're speaking in a shorthand, but probably like their own communication is way more complicated and layered and nuanced.
Yeah.
Like I think in Arrival, the fantastic Denis Villeneuve film, the aliens present these sort of circular glyphs as a way for humans to understand them. And like spent months working out like how to make these glyphs. And then at some point, like an emergency happens and they need to convey a message and they do the same gesture, touching the screen. But instead of one glyph, there's a million of them. Lots of them are different. They're spaced in 3 dimensions. That's how they normally communicate with each other. They've been doing baby talk for months.
I mean, yes, they have the same scene and like, so like they're holding up signs like John and like John walks and like they're mimicking it out. They're trying to like convey their language.
And their concepts of the universe, which is difficult.
Yeah, how words relate to each other. So like I said, like once you know the word, you still don't know anything. It could be everything. Yeah. Like, is it the cup? Is it the drink? Is it the gesture of holding it up? Is it
sharing? Is it just is it need? Like all of that can be together.
Here we get this nice view of Picard's abs.
Oh yeah, because he's ripped his shirt.
He's managed to get his shirt off again.
Well done. Still got his jacket on.
9 meters and closing. The energy output of the entity has doubled, Commander. 6 meters.
Yep. Picard lays Dathon to rest. In human fashion, arms crossed in rest at his chest.
Yep.
Grabs a knife and goes, all right, come on, bitch. Come on. You and me.
Let's do this, yes.
Let's dance.
But just as the creature lunges at him, he is transported away.
Yep. Because Riker has opened fire.
Yep. With a well-placed series of phaser blasts, the alien shield generator, the particle generator is destroyed.
Yep, and the Tamarians return in like kind.
And they apparently have some pretty good guns on that ship, because the Enterprise shields are reduced to little or nothing very quickly.
Like they're duking out fate. Oh, we can't take another.
2 or 3 salvos and the shields are down, and they will have to...
We cannot take another hit. And the captain on board and arrives on the bridge. Oh, he looks so cool. The bridge is so dark. And he says, jettison the school.
Yeah.
Again, please. Like, I had rockets installed so we can just launch those off into safety. But no, instead.
hail the Tamarian vessel.
Tamak. The river Tamak. In winter.
Which, cease your movement.
Oh, yeah, good
Perhaps.
point. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's an incredibly dangerous river, but in winter, it's frozen and safe to cross.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, very good.
I mean, I don't know.
No, it's like I get it. But yeah, Picard starts doing the Darmok and Jalad on the ocean.
Darmok and Jalad on the ocean.
Even though Dathon himself is dead.
Yeah.
Like, the friendship is there. And they're now traveling together. Darmok and Jalad now stand for the Federation and the Tamarians.
Right, yes. The first officer claims, yes.
So Khan, his eyes open.
Yeah.
He's getting it. He's getting it.
By Jove, I think she's got it.
Yes. Very sick Family Guy reference there.
Wow, bro. That was... No, Family Guy was referencing My Fair Lady.
I know.
which in turn was a Pygmalion, I think it was called. Good gravy. The life of the wife was ended by the knife.
The life of the wife was ended by the knife.
And Picard holds up the logbook, which the Tamarians beam over.
Yeah, we got this from you. It's probably his personal notes or something. Maybe the launch codes of the missiles.
Which the first officer accepts.
Picard and Dathon at Eladril.
This has now entered their cultural lexicon.
Yep.
Because they found a new solution to their problem that they probably have a lot.
And then it's...
Marab with sails unfurled.
G the F-O.
Yeah.
We're heading out of here.
Picard tries to offer the knife back, but it's refused.
Timber at rest.
And just at that time, the power has been restored. Oh, how convenient. It's like...
New friends, Captain?
Can't say, number one. But at least they're not new enemies.
Says Picard, sitting on the bridge, holding a knife. It's an odd image.
Yeah.
Just sitting there casually, just holding a knife at everyone and goes, oh, this is actually doing it for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, maybe he needs to get one of those little chest sheaths as well.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
It's it might not be regulation, but we see him back in his quarters now, wearing his regular uniform. Because actually, he's lost his jacket, hasn't he? Or has he brought that back? No, he's brought it back.
He's brought it back.
Yeah.
Although after that, it changes material because now it's got a sort of quilted pleather on the shoulders.
Oh, it looked like that in the first scene as well.
I mean, later in the season.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, then it goes more cloth, and also the velour, which it really does it for me. Gives way to the. Do you know these uniforms are made out of spandex?
So I've been told.
Just with the shiny side inward, which you've got to wonder how that interacts with body moisture and.
I mean, maybe they wear a wicking. I don't know.
Yeah, spandex wicks outwards toward the shiny side.
I had no idea it did that. Like, it's not Gore-Tex.
Doesn't? I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Memex, anyway. Gore-Tex, we're going all over the place.
But yes, he's rebuilding the Gilgamesh epos.
No, these are Homeric hymns.
Oh, right, that's the one, yes.
And these are foundational stories for his culture.
Right, yes.
More familiarity with our own mythology might help us to relate to theirs.
You'd think that comes up more often.
You'd think, but, end of the episode.
Yep.
Let's definitely not revisit any other things that we've done in the past.
But it's okay, because, another favorite episode of mine that deals with, cultural understanding and centers on Picard having a life-changing experience, he stands alone in his room, looking out the window, holding an artifact of another culture, much like in The Inner Light, it ends with him holding the flute.
Oh, yes, very much so, yeah.
Adding to his treasures, because his office is a museum of wonders.
Oh, I mean, he is quite the collector. I mean, the amateur archaeologist in the British museum style.
No, these were all gifts. Hold on. I also think about the tapestry of the beadwork that he's gifted by the proto-Vulcans.
Oh, right, yes.
That he keeps on his chair, through First Contact. That's on his chair. And this knife is on his desk, and the flute is in a box. These are treasures that were gifted to him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. I mean, that's like dissing at.
The European sort of attitude toward cultural treasures. This belongs in a museum. No, it doesn't. It's where it belongs. It belongs here.
Yes.
You just waltz through an incredibly technologically advanced temple with fantastic mechanisms that have survived 1,000 years until you
pull out the start pulling out the power supply because this needs to be in a museum. No. Anyway. Oh, that's the wrong button.
We don't have that.
We don't have it. Oh shit, that's the wrong button. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to do it ourselves. Is that how it goes?
I don't know.
That's the one, sort of.
We don't have all our usual audio cues for the various segments. Oh no,
we feel sort of lost, but it's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much, Toledo, for recommending this week's episode. And you're absolutely. I wonder if Toledo has maybe also come aboard the sort of khaki team to appreciate that maybe this is a neurological thing. Maybe this is just a different configuration of consciousness. That they absolutely can and do speak this way to each other as we speak to each other now, but only in stories.
Yeah, it's an interesting cultural concept to think of. But so I think it would very much go into very big abbreviations because they do speak in stories, but the common ones everybody knows. So it's Darmok, because when you say Darmok, you mean Darmok and Jalad Tanagra.
Yes,
on the ocean, blah blah blah.
In this context, nothing else makes sense.
Exactly, yeah. All implied. So, there's a lot of mimetic shorthand, I suppose.
This was such a fun one to explore. Thank you so much to Toledo for recommending it to us.
So fucking cool.
All of it. Oh, my God. I can't choose. How about you? I mean, Paul Winfield did an amazing job. I love the outfits. I really like the concept. Okay. What was not so fucking cool? The monster.
The monster was
maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, even that was pretty all right.
It wasn't bad.
It was an energy monster,
Or maybe it just had a cloaking field,
something like that.
Natural camouflage.
Wish ordered Predator.
Oh. Honestly, it's kind of a flawless episode, I've got to say.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can there's much to criticize about that, other than the innate improbability of the linguistic concept.
And even that, I found a line that to me makes sense, but
I've got an idea
for what I think was so cool. And as what you pointed out, there isn't a B plot.
No. Yeah.
It's a completely integrated. The 3 stories, 4 if you look at it a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's really well integrated. Structurally, it's brilliant.
Yes, very true.
Because the dramatic tension rises and there are various failures on both sides and they interact with each other. So, yeah, the storytelling, in this episode is fantastic. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, no, very good. Yes.
How about you?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, let's see. Can I just... Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the two Patrick Stewart and what's his name again? Paul Winfield.
Yeah.
They really carried this episode. Without them, this episode would not be
you're absolutely right.
anything the way it is. It's like entirely
It's
carried
amazing
by
that
those
we
two.
haven't mentioned Enemy Mine.
Oh, right.
But
yes.
Also centered around
like
two people trying to understand each other. One of them played by a handsome white actor and a fantastic and gorgeous black actor under layers of makeup.
Yes. Concept which was also done in the 1980s revival of the original Battlestar Galactica. So there's an episode in there with Starbuck and a Cylon, also in a very Enemy Mine-like situation on a planet.
And let me interrupt you there, Chief, because the Chief was about to tell you that it also happened in an episode of Star Wars Rebels, which we watched together. Don't worry, Chief. I wasn't going to forget.
All right, so...
Captain's log, supplemental.
Which scene was left on the cutting room floor?
Oh, I've got one. It's kind of grim.
Okay.
After everyone's warped off, Dathon blinks awake, yawning, and his wounds have healed. And he goes, the fuck? and in the next interaction that the Federation has with the Temerians, they find the Temerians opening fire because Picard and Dathon at Eladrel has a very different meaning to them now.
Right.
It's where we abandon our friends. And okay, now...
they could have beamed their captain back, before they set their sails up. All right, so mine is going to be when Picard wakes up on the first morning, Dathon on the shitting log.
Oh, Jesus. Moving swiftly along. Thank you so much for this recommendation. Toledo, I've been looking forward to this episode for a while, and thank you so much for being a part of this show. And this goes for all of the people who send us their recommendations. There have been so many, and our chief selects them so well. And if you would like to send in a recommendation for an episode that means a lot to you or that you think deserves the kind of loving attention that we give to the lesser loved and even mediocre and sometimes even, dare I say, bad episodes, you can find us at joyoftrek.com/links. Yeah. Links as in LINKS, not links as in the forest cat. Oh. I know.
Maybe you can maybe we can put that in there.
Maybe I can put a forwarding. Yes, I was just thinking that right now.
And if you put that in, you just get a cute picture of a links. Like if you go to /links, why not?
Why not? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's great.
That's going to really going to confuse some dyslexic at some point who just happens to mistype it and go wait, what?
Oh yeah, that's something that Temerians are probably spared. They probably, not dyslexic per se, one hopes, but the confusion of homophones, words that sound the same.
Oh, right, yes.
Such as the famous, not a boy that is a juvenile male, but a boy that shows the ships where to sail. Anyway.
Next time on an all-new episode of Star Trek.
That's one, yes.
Oh, that's going to be our language, actually. I keep saying I should expand the soundboard, and especially now that we don't currently have it, I feel even more of a desire to do that.
Yes.
To add more.
The breadcrumb of trails, the clues that the chief has laid out for us, hopefully leading us to the next episode. All right.
Clue number 1.
This looks like the front door. Should we ring the bell?
Okay. Sounds very reasonable.
Ring the bell. Okay, what am I thinking?
I mean, it can go anywhere. This can go from
I think this
Lower
is
Decks to Beverly.
I think this is original series.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
I understand that before the Genolan crashed, it had conducted an extensive survey of the Dyson sphere.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's that one with but that's another next generation. Okay, 2 next generations in a row.
Yes, I got it at Genolan. I happened to recognize that ship, but then the Dyson sphere kind of sealed it. Yeah, no prizes for anyone at home who gets it. Oh well, I have prizes. I don't care.
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
It is. It is green.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, that wouldn't...
Okay, for definite, next time we're doing that thing that you did when we watched the last episode of Battlestar Galactica where you took some gin and added green food coloring to turn it into...
We're having green.
We're
having Romulan ale.
Green.
Yes.
Homemade Never get drunk unless you're willing to pay for it. The next day.
Oh no, we shouldn't have given it away for the listeners at home. They could have enjoyed that so innocently.
Oh, laddie, you've got a lot to learn if you want people to think of you as a miracle worker.
Oh man, so many, all of these quotes would have instantly given away the episode to me.
Lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you've won first prize.
NCC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
See, this is exactly how fans communicate with each other. It's Monty Python references in Star Trek The Next Generation, because this is...
Oh, I am doing my Scottish ancestors a disservice with that terrible accent, but the episode is TNG 604 Relics. It's so hard to choose one that doesn't have just Scotty lines all over it. I'm so excited.
So are we.
As are we. So thank you for joining us once again. We absolutely love you. We only have one more thing to do.
And we do have a button for that.
Oh, yeah.
The hell is this?
I'm leaving Starfleet.
Energize!
We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode with your friends Kay and Kaki. Production and editing by Chief Engineer Greg, and music by Fox Amore. Join us next week for Tana Takes Command, the fanfiction reading, followed by Relics, TNG 604. Visit joyoftrek.com/links to send us your recommendations, support us on Patreon, or to find us on Blue Sky. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to The Joy of Trek, and we'll see you out there.